Hello, it's Michael from Functional Solutions on this YouTube live chat. And in this little session, we're going to be talking about addressing the fiction and fallacies that have either been accepted by library staff or worse, being perpetrated by library vendors. And the first one I'm going to talk about is everybody else in your area is using it. That's what vendors tell library staff members to try and spook them into doing something that they wouldn't normally do, and that is research. Is really everyone in the area using it? And if they are, what's the big deal? Maybe, and it's a possibility that everyone in your area could be wrong. It's just what they've used to working with. Now, library staff members traditionally have been very traditional and don't like change. And, excuse me, and that will account for the reason why library systems have looked old, archaic, dated, and have turned off the generation that we live in. The digital generation, turn them completely off because it is so undigitized. It is so archaic. The collections are so old. The collections generally only deal with the digital, non-digital material, the physical book. And I'm not advocating that books are gone, not by any stretch of imagination. I believe books are there, they will always be there, but there's also alternatives, not to books, but alternatives to making the library a lot more interesting and addressing the needs and requirements of the new and emerging digital patron that have been emerging for the last 15 years. So when someone says to you, everybody else in your area is using our system, you got to think, well, is that the only reason you're giving me to swap over and become one of your users? Okay, so that's something that you need to think about. So the other thing is, if everybody else in your area is using the same system, then why not adventure and have a look at what else is out? Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to also address is that, and by the way, I've always wondered, why would you go for a system that everybody else in your area is using? And I was gobsmacked because I was told that, yes, but if I need support, then I could just go to the site down the road that's using the same system. And I'm thinking, well, if that's the case, then why are you praying for support? And why are they charging you for support if they're turning around and saying that everybody in your area is using it, so if you take our system out, you can all support yourselves and you can all run these collective meetings where you meet once a month or once a quarter and all sit around and talk about your program. Wouldn't it be much better if you all had different systems so you all can exchange ideas and work out the best way to be able to engage and find out what other people are doing to engage their system using different systems? Okay, so that's one of the fallacies. It's not a good thing to do it just because everybody else is using it. It's not a good thing to do it just because you can all support yourself. Definitely not. The next thing is that if you take on our library system, this is a big fallacy that's been peddled and bandied. If you take on our library system, guess what? We can give you a home page. And that homepage, you can put this function there and this button there and this piece of news and that piece of news and so forth and so on. And everyone will flock to your library because you put so much information on the front page. Well, let me show you what the web search engine looked like. A very popular web search engine. This is what it looked like. And there's all the different variants of what web search engines look like. This is the same one. And they updated and changed and changed and changed this so often. Okay. And you can keep going. You can keep going. But it had so much information promoting so much stuff. It was sometimes even hard to find where do I go to put a search term. Okay. Now, Yahoo was around for a very long time, and by the way, it started with a search engine like this, where there was just a search, and then you had a few active links down there. That's how they started. Then they got into being more complex, and they got like this, where they put bookmarks down the side, they put articles across the top, and they put other stuff down the side, and users increasingly got frustrated by being fed all this irrelevant stuff that they weren't interested in. I'm just a science teacher. I'm a year 12 English student. I just want to search for Macbeth. Or I want to get an article on gravity. So where do I go? Where do I search? And then, guess what? Literally overnight, Yahoo became obsolete. And you know why? Because Google came along. And this has been the Google search engine since day one, believe it or not, more than 15 years ago. And overnight, Yahoo disappeared. Google came along and they said, tell me what you want. World War, that's what I want. And what it would do is, it would, once you get past all the advertising, but it would bring you all the most current and relevant articles on World War with a page down the bottom, and it would show you all the articles on World War. But it also showed you all the relevant other searches that people searched that also searched for World War. So search engine Google, became a search engine of relevancy without cluttering up your system. And that's what we've chosen to do with TV for Education. But we've gone one step further than Google. There's your search engine. World War. And there's your resources on World War. Okay. And what we've done is the order of the results is based on relevancy. So if that's very relevant, this one is least relevant compared to that. And the one down the page is even less relevant, but it pertains to the term World War. And on it goes. So relevancy is ruler and king when it comes to engaging anyone that's looking at your resource system and looking for resources. Okay? Now, what happens if there's nothing in there? So how does the search engine load? Well, what we've done, we said, well, what really is up here? And what order is this? Remember, when I do a search, it comes up in order of relevance based on the term. Well, what we've done here is, as you add new resources to the system, the new resource will get here, and everything will shuffle down one. You add another 10 resources, they'll shuffle down 10. You add another 3 resources. So whenever anyone goes to your library OPAC page, they're not being presented with the same old for the last year. It's whatever is new gets added here. Okay? So when we talk about the fallacies that, we give you a home page, and on that home page, we can do a Yahoo kind of a thing and allow you to put all these things. Well, in Smart Suite, you can do that. Okay? You can put anything you like, and you can have as many widgets as you like. You can have all the colors and layouts as you like. And all you need to do, you need to be signed in. Okay, I'm going to sign in as a librarian. Okay, and when you're signed in, we're going to go to the library homepage. Okay, so by default, we will always bring up the OPAC, the screen with the most current results in it. Now, we strongly recommend that what you do is with your library's OPAC page that you can decide that no, I don't want the OPAC page. I want to have the Yahoo experience. That's what I want. I want to be able to put columns and pictures and shortcuts. Okay, don't do it, but should you choose to do it, you can. You go to the home page, okay, and you can create a home page. You can alter the home page. So let me just go here and go into page settings, and they're all widgets, and you can have as many widgets, whatever size widget. You can delete stuff widgets on there. Okay, so you can go. So let's go ahead and we're going to delete this one. We go, yep, delete that. Pin up view on the other side, we delete that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the bottom and we're going to move that one up the top. Okay, so move it up a bit more. So move it up there. Okay, so now if I go, let's preview. Okay, and there it is. There's your preview of all your buttons. Everything else is gone. I'm not going to save that. Okay, but you can go and add other widgets. Well, what other widgets can I have? You can experiment down here and go to page builder, and you can see all the different things you can do and all the different pages we have and all the features and functions we have. It is very, very elaborate. But I'll be honest with you, less than 95% of our users go ahead and change from having, let's cancel out of here. They change from having the Yahoo kind of experience for their users. They go, no, we're a library and we just want to demonstrate our resources, and they're in here. Okay, so if you want to engage your users, your patrons or whatever, don't fall into the story of the fallacy that everybody else in the area is using it, or oh, we have a pretty homepage and you can really interact with them, and people come streaming to your library. In this digital world, what happens is students want to be able to do this. They want to be able to search from home or from on the bus or on the train or at a cafe or a shopping center. They want to be able to say, oh, I need that book. They want to be able to click that. Okay, and then they want to go into reservations and reserve it. And then they'll come into the library the next day, maybe for 2 minutes to just pick up their book and walk out. However, that doesn't mean they're not engaged with your library. The very fact that they reserve means that they're engaged with the library. Okay, and that's the outcome you want. You want them to be engaging with the collection. Okay, now, the problem that people say is, well, you know what, our collection is old and archaic and we don't have the budget. I've only got $3,000 or I've only got $6,000, and with that I've got to pay for the photocopier and I've got to pay for stationery and I've got to do all these things. So I want you to make a note. The very first item here is 5 fun physics phenomena. Okay, remember that, 5 fun physics. Just remember that. Now, in SmartSuite, we believe that the collection is king. Having a great collection of anything that the students can engage in is going to cause them to engage with the library. Not a pretty face, not a pretty front page, not a pretty OPAC, not good colors, not that the library has great furniture. Okay, the whole purpose of a library we've tend to forgotten, and dodgy library vendors have pushed all the auxiliary stuff like expenditure on software and maintenance and subscription services. They push all this stuff that this is what's, so in other words, give me money and people will flock to your library. Now, you know how ridiculous that sounds? But that's exactly what library vendors tell you. Give me money and because of my system, people will come to your library. Nothing could be further from the truth. People go to a library purely just to get up-to-date, current, engaging resources. So let's go to World War I, or just World War. Okay. Now, there's all my articles on World War. Okay. Now, I'd like to put some digital videos on there. I'd like to put some YouTube videos on there. Okay. So I'm going to add and enhance my collection, because at SmartSuite, we're not about taking money off you, we're about putting value into the library. So you have the ability to go to TV for Education. TV for Education is the largest educational content library in the world, specifically designed for educational institutions. Now in here you will find, as at the 1st of June 2020, over 160,000 new resources, digital, engaging, curriculum-based, incredible resources that will address anything a teacher needs. So we've got recently added. What does that mean? As a member of our library, every teacher can request content from absolutely any free-to-air TV program, any Foxtel channel, any topic that you need to choose. So you don't even have to have it exist in free-to-air Foxtel. But you say, I need to teach this topic. We'll provide you the digital content for it. And it'll be great and be engaging. So let's have a look at National Geographic. We go, ooh, that's interesting. I like this particular video. Now, what you can do is, if you wanted this video, all you need to do is click that star. Okay? And that star.
See a little splash. Oh, holy shit.
Okay, now if I go and add this video, I can go and click that star and I can add that resource to the library. And I can go down to this video and I can click that star and add that resource to the library. And I can go down to this video. It's a YouTube video and I can add that resource to the library. Okay, and I can go and search for World War. And there's all my World War videos. And I'm going to click that one and I'm going to add that resource to the library. And I'm going to go down to this one and I'm going to add this resource to the library. And I found that there is some great YouTube World War stuff. So why don't you do a YouTube search? Okay, and add this video to the library. And I go add it, and I've added that video to the library. Now I can go down here, okay, and I can go load more in YouTube, and I can say, oh, I want this one, and I'm going to add this resource to the library. Okay, now in that short term, I go to my schools collection again. And here's my collection. And basically, in that short time, remember 5 fun physics? I've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 resources. How amazing is that? And when a student gets in there and they click on any of these videos, up it comes. So they can be on their phone, they can be on their iPad, their Android.
I have traveled thousands of miles across 5 continents and through 2 centuries of history aboard some of the world's most exhilarating and spectacular railways. My rail journeys have taken me through magnificent scenery and also
my history students, I can go share and just grab that URL and send it to them. So they don't even have to log in, but they can just share that and it'll automatically take them to the library. So the reason why people go to the library is not because it's pretty or fancy or you paid, $10,000. They go because they want resources. They couldn't care less if you paid $100,000 for it. If you don't have the right resources for them, they're not going to go to the library. So that's why we're saying it's a fallacy to believe, oh, the school down the road use it. Oh, everyone in the area use it. Oh, if you have a pretty front page, that's why they come. No, they come simply because they've got resources, engaging resources. You can add ebooks, you can add web articles. Those are all the things you can add digitally in here. And the best part, it does not cost you an extra cent of your budget to add all these resources. Thank you very much for the opportunity to show you about tips and tricks and fallacies on the system.